And I'm Mike.
I feel like my camera's very high today.
Oh,
Welcome.
yeah, I don't know. I can't figure mine out either. You'd think by now, to the 1 year anniversary episode, you would think we would know how to get our cameras right.
Yes, happy anniversary, everybody who
Yeah.
has been
If
here
you,
since day one, which
yeah,
might just be me and you, but
could be. It could be. Maybe some family members have been here since the beginning. I don't know.
yeah,
I
but
don't, I don't know if they still watch though or pay attention to us. I don't know. We should talk about them and see if they get angry at us.
we
And that
know
way we would know.
specific family members that don't listen, and that is why we talk about a lot of them on our podcast.
We're looking at you, Brandon.
If you if
But
you
you're not
annoy
looking back. So,
if you get on our nerves, bring it
yeah.
into the pod.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm. By the way,
So,
I'm drinking a Starbucks bottled pumpkin spice coffee today.
oh,
So,
they'll start selling them uh tomorrow, right? The 26th?
oh, I
Oh,
think the
today, I mean.
27th. I think the 27th, which would be tomorrow.
Duncan is already doing it.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme has been for a while too.
Yeah.
I think since the beginning of the month they were, which, I don't know. I'd had enough time away from it that I'm okay with it again. You know,
It is a
there was,
cozy drink. I do
yeah, it
appreciate
is.
that moment. If it's like a cloudy, it's kind of cloudy right now actually, but if it's like a cloudy or rainy morning and you got yourself a hot pumpkin spice drink,
Oh
a little
yeah,
coffee, that's nice.
yeah,
That's a nice feeling.
yeah.
Turn
It's
on
funny
the
because
artificial fireplace. Got
oh
yourself a cozy
yeah,
moment.
no heat. We don't want the heat on, but the artificial
No, that's
fireplace
not
is
the.
great.
It's a nice vibe
The, the,
setter.
it's funny because like it's late August, right? And we're in Florida, so it's still hot. But we've been noticing the past couple of nights when we're taking the dog for a walk that like it's a little cooler. Like in the evening, it's getting a little cooler, and you start like after whatever the longest day of the year, the summer solstice, the days start getting shorter right away. So probably it is starting to cool a little bit, at least in the evening.
Hmm.
Um, and I noticed that our plumerias, because we have plumerias planted all over, that they're starting to lose their leaves. And it's like, wow, we are actually turning in that direction, even though it's still hot because we're in Florida.
Yeah, and yeah.
So,
I noticed
so
a cooler breeze the other night, but I didn't know if it was just because of all the storms that have been around us.
that could be too, because we did have that hurricane that was out in the ocean, and then when it went up north, it took all the humidity out for a minute.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah. So we were going to talk today about what we've learned over the last year of doing this, about doing a podcast and being on these social platforms and all that. So I think that's a good thing to talk about, right? What we've learned.
Yeah, I think if anything, I think the number one thing is if you want to start a podcast, I think it goes with anything though that you want to try, though, is just being consistent with it. There's a lot of
Yep.
days, I'm not even gonna lie, that I'm so tired. I want to like go do something fun or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, no, I gotta film a podcast today.
Yeah.
Just
See,
hold
I'm
it
never
off.
like that. I'm always looking forward to it.
I look forward to it. I look
It's
forward to it,
it
but I'm
is
saying like just the mind. It's like just that extra thing on like an already busy day that you're like, and I gotta do that.
yeah.
Especially if it's one that we have to prepare for. Like the game times, I guess, more
Right.
than anything.
Yeah, the game
Um,
times are the toughest ones, and they're the shorter ones too, which is funny.
yeah, I think doing it with someone like you that stays on it, is always good. But yeah, I feel like the consistency aspect, and we've seen that even through, social media posting, that
Oh
staying
yeah.
consistent on social media, which I sometimes lack on the TikTok side of it. But
Yeah, I've slacked a couple times on the YouTube stuff too, because it's just for some background. Alyssa usually does the TikTok posts that we do, and I usually do the YouTube shorts that we post. So it's
then
it's
I do
it's a shared
Instagram.
responsibility. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she does Instagram too. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it is funny though, because even with that stuff, one thing that I've noticed that I think is interesting
Hmm.
is the types of things that people react to, because there's
Oh yeah.
been two things that I've noticed that we get a lot of reactions to from people, be it comments or just, them liking the post. It's things that are, I don't want to say negative, but things that have kind of a negative or what's the word? Like a controversial, I guess,
Oh
kind
yeah,
of tinge to them.
y'all love yourself a controversial topic.
Yeah. Um, and then the other ones more recently, which is kind of funny, is the dad jokes. People are reacting to the dad jokes, which is like great. That makes my day that
Yeah,
everybody like
that's nice.
is
Yeah.
actually reacting to the dad jokes.
Yeah, I like that for you.
So
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's funny to watch some of our earlier episodes and now because you can obviously tell that we're just more comfortable with the,
yeah,
because, it's not like we're just recording. We also have video
right,
for all the video watchers. So, you know, we're more comfortable with it now.
yeah.
I feel
Like
like
I
you
try
can
to,
hear it in our voices and how we talk to each other. And it really
yeah,
is like just we turn on the camera and just start yapping.
start going. Yeah, I think like the one thing is because I do watch our episodes after, and I jokingly say that it's for quality control. It really is because
Mm.
in the beginning, like there was a lot of stuff you'd say that I would roll my eyes, and I was like, I can't do that on camera.
Wow, I didn't even notice
No,
that you would roll your
I'm just
eyes at
that
me.
was that was a dad joke. That qualifies as a dad joke.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch now. If you see an influx in our views for past episodes,
Yep,
it's
yep,
me. It's me quality
yeah,
controlling everything.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the interesting one to me, I mean, it's not surprising, right, that some of the more, like, one of our early episodes was called Unpopular Opinions, was it?
Oh yeah, I liked that one. We gotta do another one of those soon.
Yeah, we should. And that was a fun one,
That
right?
was
But
fun, yeah.
people reacted to that and not so much, we didn't get a whole lot of comments on it, but we got a lot of views and we got a lot of likes on that one. And that tells me that like the subject matter itself, people were like, "Oh, what are they talking about?" And on the flip side, I mentioned how I recently started doing kind of a little YouTube series of the home improvement stuff, and I had one short that I posted from that had it was kind of a negative thing because it was we had a situation with our hot water heater where we hired a plumbing company, a well-known plumbing company, to come in and install it because just at the time I just didn't have the time. We were literally gutting the house and redoing the whole house, and that was one thing that I was like, we can bring somebody in and have them do that, and they did it wrong, and it took them like way too long. It took them more than a day, and Chris put the same kind in his house, and he's not a plumber, and he did it in a couple of hours. So I keep saying that, but anyway, not to get into that whole topic, but that post on TikTok got like more views and more comments and more likes than like anything
That
else that I've
posted.
put on there. Yeah, yeah, and I don't post a whole lot on TikTok, but I'm shocked by the number of views in the first place that it's gotten, but then the reactions, the likes, the comments, there's a whole discussion thread on there about it, and even it's several days later, and I'm still getting comments and likes from people on it. So it's just it was a rant. It was literally a rant post. And I still get people, reacting to it. So that's one thing is, maybe if we want to get more reaction from people, we just got to start doing some really negative episodes, I think. Or all dad jokes. We can do an all dad jokes episode.
Do like a my complaints. We tried to do a complaints episode, but we don't really have too many complaints.
Yeah, we're not.
Like
Plus, a
overall,
lot
we
of the
have
stuff
like,
that I would complain about might get us canceled, and I'm just not ready for that yet.
or maybe it wouldn't, or maybe
Maybe
we would gain
we'd
a
just get a whole new
ally
audience.
behind us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd gain a
Um,
whole new audience.
Yeah, I always like when that has been like the cool thing for me is whenever we post something and you see people commenting on it, I'll get an alert on my phone for the YouTube like about a
Yeah,
someone that commented. We really haven't
yeah.
gotten that many mean comments, which is nice.
No, no. There, I mean, there, there was the one that we always joke
There's
about,
been
but
some like
I,
more
yeah.
aggressive ones, like the one that oh, what did they say? They said something on a more recent one. It was like a response to something that you replied to somebody.
Mm.
And they were just like,
Oh, I
I
know the
see
one
that
you're
you're
talking about.
trying to
Hold on,
get
I
more
just lost my headphone.
engagement. Something about
Yeah,
like getting
yeah,
more engagement or whatever. And it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what?
Yeah,
No,
it
we
was
just are
because
a new.
the person had commented. I think the first person that commented on it because we were talking about it had to do with the question about where did Taylor Swift begin her international leg of
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
Eras
yeah,
tour, I
yeah.
think. And the
Hmm.
answer was Mexico. And the person said Mexico is in America. In fact, it's in North America. And I was like, okay, but that's still international
Not
because it's
America.
not in the US. It's not in the
It's
US,
not a
right?
part of the 50 states.
Right. And somebody else commented, no, it's actually South America, incorrectly. And at the time, I replied to them and I said, oh, good catch, because I was wrong, but I was thinking that they were right.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's why I replied. I didn't reply it for engagement because, you know, I don't know if people can tell this, but I don't care that much. um,
Huh.
but I mean, I
Well, we're
like when
just
I'm,
on there.
interacting with listeners and that,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing stuff like that just to get engagement.
Or else
So,
we
but
do a lot
the
more
thing
clickbaity episodes
yeah,
if
yeah,
we were
exactly.
trying to really get our
Yeah.
engagement
Like our shorts would
interactive
be
like
things
that.
like, you won't believe what Alyssa said next. Uh,
And it's just me
but
like, yeah,
yeah,
saying nothing.
yeah, saying that.
Whole bunch of nothing.
But yeah, but the person had commented something like that, like I know you're trying to increase your engagement, but they were wrong, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And so yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, or when you used to do the little alerts to me on our new international listeners. That was
Oh
always
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we've kind of stuck in the same range for a long while, and that's based on our Spotify, because our our main podcast is
Spotify.
distributed through Spotify, so they're kind of the main
Yeah.
thing. But we
That's also why our
separately,
link that is always posted, it's to
right,
our Spotify.
right,
Not, obviously you can listen anywhere you want, but
right.
Spotify is the
But
home, what is it called?
yeah,
Home
that's our
base.
home base. Yeah, that's our home base. But oh, and I do have an update for you. But we also post separately the video content on YouTube, along
Yeah.
that's where we post shorts, and then those also are on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere else. But the update is we've been listened to in 15 countries, not
Oh my
14. Last
goodness.
time I looked, it was 14. So we picked up another one. Number one is the United States. Second is Australia. So g'day.
Yeah.
It's all the people that know we have an Australian Shepherd Doodle mix.
Oh yeah.
Then
And
let me
and
see.
fans of the bloomin' onion.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something that
And
they
then
really eat in Australia, or is that just like something that
that's a good question. I don't
Outback's
know. I
decided that they
could
eat?
be something they made up. Yeah, that they said no. It's Australian. And then third is the United Kingdom, and then Canada. I think our content or our listeners in Canada would be better, but then Norway,
Hmm.
then India, then Germany, Indonesia, Mexico, Ireland, Pakistan. Pakistan, that's wild.
That is
Romania, how about
crazy.
that? Brazil, South Africa, and the Czech Republic.
I wonder if
Is
they
that wild? That is wild to me.
I wonder if they really are listening to our whole episode or if they just hear that were just
Uh,
saying a whole bunch of nonsense and they turned it
yeah.
off.
I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't, I mean, because they don't really tell you how long anyone was listening.
Yeah. I wish it told me each
Um,
individual person that listened to our podcast
yeah, I went there. I
and
went
how
their
long
email
and
address
how
and
long each
oh,
of them listened.
yeah. Well, it does give you that to some extent, but it doesn't give it to you by country. It gives it to
Like
you
this
overall.
person in the US listened for 2 minutes, turned
And what's
off at this
interesting,
point.
yeah, yeah, that's what I want to
That's
know, and
that's
because that way we can contact them and ask them what they didn't like. But but what's interesting too is Spotify will then tell you like which ones are on all platforms or which ones were just on Spotify. So we only are actually 6 countries on Spotify itself. So the
oh
15 countries, so the other 9 are either through Apple Podcasts or iHeart or where else are we?
um
I don't know.
I think that's it.
Um,
Well, YouTube has their
YouTube
like
podcasts,
podcast.
YouTube, yeah, and
Yeah.
we are on there too. And we actually do get plays on there. And then the other thing that was interesting to me about it, and let me see if I can pull this up real quick, is like with the YouTube content, because the podcast, the audio podcast itself automatically, posts to YouTube when we publish it to Spotify.
Yeah.
And but then in addition to that, like I said, we also upload the full episode video on there. And but there have been some of the audio only uh, episodes that have gotten way more plays the than the video episodes. I'm trying to find which one it was recently that happened with. Oh no, actually I'm wrong. No, actually I'm wrong. I thought there was one that got way more, but it wasn't way more. It was one more. So like yeah, it was only one more play, and then that one didn't have a whole lot of our most played episode on YouTube was a recent one we did that was the Game Time Show and Tell from 2 weeks ago. That one got a bunch of plays on YouTube, which was kind of interesting, like a lot more than most. Um, but yeah, we get a lot of people checking us out on YouTube.
I think
Um,
what does help a lot is really the social media aspect because, you know, the thing is that there's so many podcasts out there that I feel like the I don't know, just chance of somebody coming across enough people coming across your podcast randomly. I don't know about you, but I'm not just going on podcast apps
right,
and, trying to find a great new podcast that I want to listen to and then just
right,
continuing to listen to it. Most of the podcasts I listen to is either because it's somebody that I already knew that I know does a podcast or it's from um, clips that I've
hmm,
seen online that I've seen enough times, like, you know what, this person's actually pretty funny. Let me check out their
right.
podcast, and then I listen to it after that. But yeah, so I feel like social media really
Yeah,
has helped our
it does
range.
help. Yeah, it helps people find you. Wow.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see how many total episodes we've done on here, and Spotify is not being kind in telling me that. So that's annoying. But let's see about YouTube. Is YouTube going to be kind and tell me that? Because I'm just I'm interested in how much work we've done. I know this year we're on episode 60 something. Um, views? No, that's not what I want. Please stand by. You'd think it would tell me that. You'd think it would tell me the total number of videos and shorts that we've posted somewhere.
Yeah, because we
Analytics.
also
That's
we also
probably where.
started doing 2 a week at some point
Right.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why our number of episodes is higher. Ooh, that was
Yeah.
very loud.
Oh,
Content.
sorry.
Maybe that's where it will tell me. No, it tells me. Wow, we've gotten a lot of views in the last couple of weeks though. The shorts, I find that the YouTube shorts, And so some of the stuff that we do too is stuff that honestly, we talked a lot about like ChatGPT and that, but it's recommendations from there, right? Into as to how to get, kind of a little bit more, um, exposure to your episodes. Yeah, this still
I
isn't telling me how
I
many.
think
It's
it's just
annoying.
one of those things that if it's something that you want to do, you just kind of gotta, go for it. And you don't need in the beginning the most expensive mics or setup. I've
Nope.
my recording right here, besides obviously with my mic, my video is on a laptop. Your video is on your iPad. Um,
Yeah.
so you really don't need the most expensive equipment to start up, but you do need, I feel like, a different outlook. Not outlook,
Yeah.
but just like idea for podcasting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
ours
think you.
isn't that different, I guess, but we come on here and we just talk how we would talk, if I was calling you on the phone. There's actually sometimes when
Right.
I have called him on the phone and we've started talking about something and we've been like, actually, let's just save this for the podcast.
Yeah.
And we save it, we
Or
talk about
after
it
the
later.
fact, we've said that too. After the fact, we've gone, we should have saved that for a
Should have talked
podcast
about that.
because I mean,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I mean. We talked for a long time about hey, we should start doing that more
Mhm.
jokingly. It's like I've talked with your brothers about, wow, we should start doing a sports podcast. But then again, I
Mhm.
feel like everybody does sports podcasts now, so maybe that would be overload or just
Yeah.
get lost in the crowd. But that's that's why we started doing it was because we we have so many like interesting discussions between the two of us that
Mhm.
I think that makes that's what I don't know if that's what people who tune in enjoy about it, but that's what I enjoy about doing it is we have so many like good conversations on all these topics and that.
Yeah. Sometimes they're more serious than others, but yeah, I feel like if it's something that you want to do, people have said that a lot of times, even just for like creators on, TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff, that if it's something you want to do, you kind of just gotta go for it and be yourself and start it and stay consistent with it. And,
Hmm.
something might come out of it. Even if it's only a
Yeah.
few views and comments, something will come out of
Yeah.
it. And plus, if it's
Yeah.
something that you
Exactly.
like doing anyways,
And
it's not that
everything you do
bad.
is yeah, exactly. And everything you do is like a learning experience too. Like we're talking now about what we've learned while doing this, but it's also I've learned to use some tools that are out there for this stuff that I would have never learned to use otherwise. And who knows down the road where that might help me.
Mhm.
Um, and it's also I mean I've said like there's so many things. I always say this to your mom, like the difference between people who are really I think successful in their own right and people who aren't is the people who are successful in their own right, instead of talking about doing something they actually go forward and do it. There's lots of ideas
Mhm.
that people have and then they never act on them. I've done that a lot, and at some point if you don't like act on them, then what good is it? You can sit and think, oh wow, I wish I could have done that, or you can just do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the Phineas Swift books. It's the same kind of thing. I that was an idea I think that you and I talked about jokingly at some
Mhm.
point, and then I just started doing it, started working on it, and now there's three of them out, and I've got three more that I'm trying to get done. There'll be six of them out there, and it's a whole thing. And like at this point, it's kind of funny because if I Google that name, Google comes back with an AI response that it like is shocking to me because it's an actual like description of the character and what it is and all that. That's just generated by AI, which is kind of cool. But again, if I'd sat thinking about that for a long time
Like,
and
oh, that'd be cool,
then
and
never
then never
done
do
anything
it.
with it, yeah, like that's the difference between like people who do things and people who don't. Is people who do things
Doing it.
actually act on it.
Yeah, I think it's the intimidating part sometimes is that in a lot of our heads we have like this timeline of when you feel like you need to be successful with
Hmm.
said thing. Um, so, we could have started this and then been like, man, we've been doing this for 6 months. We don't where are my 100,000 views or follows or
Right.
whatever, and then just stop. You know, if it's something that you
Yeah.
actually like doing, just keep doing it, and eventually, I think that eventually something will stick. Like
Yeah.
so,
I think,
something will
I
come out
think,
of it.
yeah, it's a matter of finding, with something like this, it's a matter of finding your audience. And I think we're still in that realm. I mean, that's a lot of what we're talking
Yeah.
about, oh, what are people interested? What topics are people more interested in? And hey, maybe we need to focus more on that. And then also some of the other things that we're doing, like the social media stuff to get people engaged and to get people, like to your point, who might not find you otherwise to find the podcast and check us out.
Working with the algorithm, all of that.
Messing with the algorithm. That's
It's
that's gonna. I think that I want that to be the title of my autobiography. Messing with the algorithm.
yeah.
Don't know why,
You
but it
know,
just
it's
sounds.
there's a lot of times, speaking of algorithms, that I'll be on the A&M podcast Instagram, and on the Instagram, that Instagram only follows me and you.
Right.
So the only things that are on my my page on that Instagram is like things that I saw once and I liked it, and then so it's literally recipes and nice houses. And the other day I was showing Adrian one of these like nice, I don't know, it was a house in like Georgia or Texas or somewhere random like that. I was like, man, look at this nice house. And then he started laughing because he's like, wow, the A&M podcast liked it. It's like, yep, that's because
You know
sometimes I
what?
forget which page I'm on and I just
Yep.
start liking
You
things
know,
on that page.
yeah, I've had that happen where with between the two YouTube pages where I've gone on to do something on the A&M podcast one, and then on the new one now I've been on and I've like, oh no, that was the wrong one. So I've had to go
I
back
know.
and fix it. Like I think I posted one of our shorts for the podcast on that, and I'm like, well, that makes no sense. People are gonna be like, this has nothing to
You're
do
like,
with a home remodel. What the heck?
sorry guys, just want to let you know, by the way, I have a podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That is the one thing I will say that I'm still a little more shy on is telling people, like, hey, I have a podcast.
Yeah, I know. I know. Same. Like
Still a little
people I work
awkward.
with don't know. I had a funny thing happen though. I was on a work trip and my boss had said to me, Mike, I didn't know you wrote children's books. How did I just find that out? And I'm like, I don't talk about that stuff at work because,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It's
not
like,
that big
well,
yet. Because if it was that big, then I wouldn't be working.
I also think it's funny because like you and I are not big social media-ers.
Yeah.
That's a term for it.
Yeah.
We're not
We're not
posters.
oversharers on social media. Yeah.
My last post I think was from literally February 2024 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And, I'll post once in a while on my story or whatever, but
Hmm.
yeah, you will not find out anything too worthy
For
about
me,
us on our pages. So
yeah.
being like this is, I feel, a huge like insight, the biggest insight really into our lives that you'll see on social media
It is.
because we're
It
not
is. Yeah.
posting anything else.
Yeah. 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 That's the
You want
same.
to know
Like
what
for
I'm
me,
doing, what I did this weekend? Tune into the podcast and maybe I'll talk about it
that's
on the
right.
Tuesday
I
episode.
tell family members that now. You know, don't look for me on Facebook. Check out the podcast, and you'll find out what's
Yeah,
going on. Um,
yeah, not
yeah. I
big
mean,
posters.
I might occasionally do a happy birthday to somebody, and that's only to people that I know who I don't have their phone number because they're my text.
Which I think that's also the adjustment that came in, even being consistent, at least on my end, being consistent, posting even the podcast stuff on the TikTok and Instagram, because that's just not even something that's in my mindset a lot of times on
Right.
posting and curating things and captions and comments. Like that's just not even my wheelhouse in
Right.
terms of social media. I go on social media, I scroll for a little bit, laugh at a few funny memes, and then
Yeah.
on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that definitely
Exactly.
took a big adjustment, not being a social media poster, having to turn into a social media poster and coming up
Right.
with the catchy captions. You are actually great at the captions. I always copy the YouTube captions on the TikTok and Instagram, more to keep it consistent, but also because your captions always hit.
Some of them are the ones that the tools generate too. Because a lot of the tools for doing the clips that I use, like we use, I can say it because it's always on the screen. We use that
Yeah.
Riverside FM, which is how we're doing this episode right now.
Okay.
And then for cases where I don't, and it automatically generates clips for us, which is great. And then I've also used Opus Clips, it's called, which is another one that'll like you can throw a
Yeah.
YouTube link at it and it'll create all the clips for you. And that one's actually kind of good too because it does a whole analysis of well what's the most likely to be catchy to catch people's attention. So that makes it nice too.
And
The
they're the
tools
free
are helpful,
versions, so you can't use the
right?
excuse that, you don't have the money for it because they're
Right.
free.
No,
The only thing
our
we have spent on
podcast.
for this podcast is literally when you bought these microphones, and
Yep.
that, you can find cheaper microphones on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to
Yeah.
buy
These.
again, the top of the line ones. You can buy the cheaper
No.
ones to start
Yeah. If you
out,
have a
and
gaming
then
headset, you can probably use it.
yeah, we have these cheap little headphones. Our headphones, like I'll show you mine right now. It's literally broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I
so
just have it
mine,
where I
yeah,
stick my ear.
we do have to, once the podcast starts generating revenue, sometime in the
Honestly, because
2030s. Look at, I
we are,
got bare wire on this one.
I have bare wire too. Actually,
Yeah,
you know what? For our 1 year, we should buy, we
I know.
should
We
get better
should. We should.
headphones.
That's the one expenditure we should do is get ourselves new
We've been
headphones.
here a year now. I'm gonna get good headphones for us.
But yeah,
Tune in for
you're
that.
right. Like you don't have to have really any investment. I mean, if you're really interested in doing it, to be
Yeah.
honest, if we wanted to, we could be recording this using the microphones on our devices. The audio quality just wouldn't be very good, and you kind of want people to listen. But like these microphones, the whole set for these microphones, which came with like the booms that we used to use, and the headphones, even though they're cheap,
Mhm.
and that
You could
board
probably
that does the
use like
sounds and all that.
you can use the old school, buy yourself a pair of old school Apple headphones with the little mic right here.
Yeah,
That would
that's
probably
it.
work
That's
too.
exactly it. Yeah.
You really don't need,
So yeah,
a high quality situation. And now we do it not next to each other. So, we will be together soon in an episode, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Someday,
But,
someday.
we're
We do
able to,
still see each other. We do still see each other in person occasionally, but it's just not
yeah, we do. I
every
just
time
saw
we do
him
the
this
episodes.
weekend. I saw him this weekend,
Yeah,
but that's not what I was trying to do.
yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of times when the thing is, when I see him, it's usually for like something fun or I
Right.
don't know, shopping or something like that. There was a time recently where I came over. I forget what it was for, like a cookout or something, and you're like, "Did you bring your mic?"
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
No, why
yeah,
would
yeah.
I
That's
should have.
exactly what it was.
Maybe I
You
should
should
bring
have.
it every time I come
You sh-
over just
yeah.
in
Just
case,
keep it in
but
the car. Well, don't keep it in the
I
car because, well, yeah. I don't know. You get a little bag and keep that in, and just have that with you at all times, just in case.
well, no, because since we film so often throughout the week, I actually just keep my little setup pretty much set up unless I need to
Oh,
take it down for some reason.
yeah. During
But
the
like this
week,
whole weekend,
I'll
I just kept it connected.
yeah. During the week, sometimes I'll do that too, just because it's easier. And then other times, I take it down because sometimes I sit here to work. The job that pays.
Unless I'm having like people come over or something like that, I just keep it because
Yeah,
I record in the A&F podcast break room most of the time. So,
yeah.
I'm at
I
my
I
dining room table.
I like when any little kids show up at the house and it's still set up and they see the microphone there. They're like, "Oh, what's going
Oh
on
yeah,
there?"
kids get real hype about it,
They
and you
do.
always got to be like, "Don't touch it,"
Yeah, it's tuned to where it needs to be.
because it's always like, "Ah, check, 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 check." Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. And then they want to eat the microphone because they're way up here.
Yeah. Like, stop putting your mouth on my microphone.
Yeah. Come
I'm the
on.
only
You're
one who
going
can
to,
put my mouth.
yeah. That's for my use only. Then you got to just do that. Take that off before. I probably just really
Right.
messed with the audio by doing that.
No, it didn't at all. It sounded very,
Oh,
yeah. It was kind of like ASMR a little bit.
oh wow. We'll have to remember that in case we need that.
Right. An episode of just
So
ASMR. That's one game time.
I got a question for you. Did you hear about the
Yes.
kidnapping at school? Did you hear about the kidnapping at school?
Was that sound effect part of your joke?
It wasn't, but why do you assume it was a joke? I'm asking you a question. Did you hear about a kidnapping at school?
No.
Oh, it's fine. He woke up.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a good one. I like that one. It's
I only
fine.
know 25. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. All right, I'm gonna end on that one. That's enough.
Do you ever,
I was
you probably don't tell many people like the jokes, but have you ever ran into that awkward moment where you do say something that you think is funny to somebody and they don't think
oh
it's
yeah.
funny?
Oh yeah.
How
It's the
annoying is
worst.
that?
It's the worst. If they
I,
don't react at all, you're like, wait, did they not hear it? And then you think about repeating it, but then it's worse because if you repeat it and they're like, yeah, it wasn't funny. If they just didn't.
I hate that. I hate running into like a no humor type
Yeah.
of person. Not even
Yeah.
like I'm that funny, but I think that when
Like
you can
when
tell
you
when
said something
someone's
funny
trying
though.
to be funny.
Right.
And even then, like if I didn't, I don't know. You know when somebody's saying something that should be funny most
Yeah.
times,
Yeah. Yeah.
unless it's just dark humor that you don't understand, or I don't know, maybe it offends
Yeah.
you. Anyways, Cooper
Or
sounds like he's
there's
off the wall over there.
yeah, he is off the wall. He is he is insane. I like doing those dad jokes at the end of the episode though, because I figured that way people can't just click out like in the middle. If I do them too early, it
Oh
might cause
yeah.
people to leave early. I'd rather if they're going to leave, they leave at the end.
We
So
really should start if, speaking of engagement, really clickbaiting them in the beginning. Hey guys, I have
yeah,
something really fun to tell you at the end of the podcast. Stay listening.
yeah, right. The
And it's
problem is you
that.
can fast
That's what it is.
forward. If you
Yeah.
couldn't fast forward,
Like we can just
then it
start
would
doing
be
live radio. How do we
yeah.
get on the radio?
You know what? At some point we should do a live, a
A
YouTube
live
live.
episode? That
Yeah,
would
we
be
should do that
fun.
at some point. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
have to think
that would be
about
a fun
what
one.
would be a good occurrence for that. This would have been a good occurrence for that, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah.
we'll get there. All right.
Anyways,
Well, thanks for listening and viewing and checking us out over the last year, and keep us on for the next year, I guess.
yes, please. That's it.
All right.
All right.
That's it. We still don't know how to end. That's the biggest problem is I never know how to end.
Yeah. Bye,
We got to come up with
guys.
that's it. Bye.